There you go. As they say, you are one smart cookie.
I didn't even know I had them until about a month ago. It was something off a business credit card I was using, and it was like, it's enough for two first class tickets. I'm like, wow, had no idea. So I used one.
I um I leave that stuff to my wife. She takes care of all of.
So where in Mexico is your daughter going?
I can't remember the name of it. It is really far south. In fact, I'm going to text her right now because I was kind of concerned at first where they were going, quite honestly, when I looked it up. And she's like, no, no, Dad, as always, you know what? We're staying at inside the boundaries of the resort. And if you're in here, it's fine. Well, except that they did that for the majority of the time. And then they went out for one day outside the resort. And that's all you
Right.
really need.
I think, at those tourist locations, they're not going to mess with Americans. The ones that get in trouble are the ones that are going out and buying drugs or doing something stupid like that.
I think so. There'd be such an international outrage, and that city, village, or whatever would take such an economic hit from people saying, "Oh, don't go here, don't go there, whatever."
Yeah, I mean, the last time I was in Cancun, there were people with AR, police officers with AR-15s walking down the beach.
Wow, wow.
So, I know that there's bad guys, a lot of bad guys in Mexico. I don't think I want to go again though. I've had my fill, I believe.
They go to Tapachula or something.
We were just on the strip in Cancun at a pretty nice hotel.
No,
Uh,
I,
Oh, me.
yeah.
Waiting. That sounds kind of familiar. It seems like it's at the southern tip of like where Baja is at or something.
oh, yeah, that's all resort area. They're not, I mean, that's their bread and butter, American dollars. So
Yeah,
I don't think I'm it's the activity that you get involved with that could get you in trouble, you know, down there. That's what I think.
I think so too.
And
And
like when I was stationed in the Philippines back in the 80s, um, long blonde hair, I stood out like crazy because nobody has blonde hair there. And so everybody kind of knew where I was. I'd be driving my little yellow bug all over the place. And they like Americans. I would get in my car sometimes on my days off and just drive, you know, and go someplace cool. Um, and I think it, I couldn't do that now because now they're capturing Americans for ransom and stuff like that. But at the time that I was there, it was safer, you know, and I would just do whatever I felt like doing sometimes on my days off. Just go wander around, go out in the country. And it was even safer in the more rural areas. Like I went with a friend. He was a pilot, and he rented the club plane. And when we went up to Lingayen Gulf, which is where General MacArthur came back after the Americans got pushed out by the Japanese in World War II.
right,
That was his re-landing spot. So,
I
so in
shall
that location,
return.
pardon?
I shall return or something like
Yeah,
that. He said, yeah.
yeah. In that location, oh my God, he's like the most popular thing ever. Still, I mean, we're talking a whole nother generation of people love
Really?
Americans because of what he
Wow.
did.
That is amazing. I guess I just would not have assumed that,
Yeah.
especially because, he's got back here, he's got kind of a tarnished reputation.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, the problem is, so who's right on that thing? Is Truman right on that thing? Is MacArthur right on that thing? And then,
They love him there.
Well, and then you go back even further. They had before World War II, they had this bonus army thing. So World War I veterans were supposed to get bonuses, and the economy crashes, and they go to Washington, thousands and thousands, and they want their bonus. But the problem is they weren't supposed to get their bonus until later on, and so eventually, I think it was help me with this, Barb. I'm pretty sure it was MacArthur, Eisenhower, Patton, a bunch of those guys were in charge of just going through on horses and tanks and getting rid of all these bonus guys. So later on, they got to be, heroes in World War II, but a lot of the World War I guys and their families didn't forget how they were treated in Washington.
Yeah.
Is that close to the truth? I'm not totally sure.
I haven't heard that story. I mean, I know more about his service in the Philippines because I was over there and, you're just kind of immersed in it. But it was the interesting part. We went to, I don't know, we went to a restaurant or something. And we were probably the only Americans that they'd seen in a long time. So everybody was coming up to us, introducing themselves as their career. So this is the town trash man, and this is the town banker, and this is, it was pretty neat. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. So.
Well, I'm glad you're safe. I have to say, if I were out there with you, I'm like, no, Barbara, you are not going to go do this. I don't care what you think. You're still a pretty blonde in the middle of nowhere. And you're not exactly flying below the radar, even though you're a pilot. So
I'm pretty sure she would have stood up to you, though.
Well, that's true, too. There is that, right?
Pushed right on past and said, get out of the way. Yeah. Oh, man.
All right, I got
more danger from the sailors. I mean, I remember going to a bar one night because that's all there was to do. And the reason I went is they had the best live music and they were playing copy of American music at the time. So I enjoyed going to listen to music. And the bars had different themes. So there was like what did they call it? Punk rock. Remember punk rock?
Right, yeah.
Like Sting and stuff like that. But I went in this one bar and I'm just kind of walking in and this guy grabbed me. It was a sailor, a drunken sailor, kind of shoved me against the wall and said, "Do you speak English?" And I looked at him. I said, "No, I'm French."
Jeez.
Leave me alone. Get out of here. They just, I don't know. Really
weird. Drunk is never a good thing. I mean, I don't know at what point in life exactly. Probably when I had kids, I guess. I don't know. There's some point where, for me, it was just I don't ever want to wake up with a hangover like that again. And the benefit is
it's really tough on your body too.
Oh man. And the benefit is not only do you not wake up with a hangover, you don't wake up wondering what you did the night before, whether you're a complete idiot, made a fool of yourself or something.
Yeah.
So there's always that benefit.
It's amazing we survive all that stuff.
I know, right? Okay, I got a clock. I'm good to go. How about you, Barb?
Yep, I think I'm ready.
Count us down in 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's real estate authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb's an author. Barb Schlinker is also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or just go ahead and search Barb. You'll find her on most popular podcast platforms like iHeartRadio and others. Every week, Your Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of your largest assets, your home. Barb, what are we talking about today?
Well, Richard, I know it's been in the news. Everybody seems to be talking about the fact that Realtor.com came out and said that Colorado Springs is predicted to be the hottest real estate market in the country for 2025. So we're going to kind of look into what the market's doing now for the first segment and look at the basis for their predictions and kind of what you can do to get ready for it. And then the next topic, which seems to be coming up a lot, is whether or not both buyers and sellers can save money by not paying the full buyer's agent commission in Colorado. It's very interesting that it's become negotiable. It's the number one question I get from agents is the seller paying any commission? So it put negotiations back into the real estate game, which I think is a really good thing. And then we'll cover what closing costs are for home sellers in Colorado. And the very last topic is one of the ones that I love working with all the time, which is teaching people how to price their home properly. So we're going to cover the pricing mistakes that can cost you thousands when selling your home. And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
So, Barb, the real estate market has had some recent turmoil, of course, which could be good for buyers and not so good for sellers. Yet that study came out predicting Colorado Springs will be one of the hottest, if not the hottest, real estate market in 2025. So what's behind that prediction, Barb?
Well, it's a lot of optimism, I will say that. And I'll go into detail about where they came up with these numbers and the predictions. But I think a lot of it has to do with just the cost of housing here as compared to some of the higher markets in general. But what's going on in the current market right now is not the same story. It's not as hot right now as what they're predicting. And I actually hope what they're predicting comes true. I think it'd be wonderful for everybody. Right now, what we've been seeing over the past couple of months is pretty much every week, the median list price is dropping by $5,000 a week. That's a lot of money, lowering right now. And the average days on market to get a contract are going up. So when I talk about average days on market, what I mean is the average days from the time a house goes on the market to the time it actually gets a contract. That's when the clock stops ticking. It still could take a month or two after that to close. However, the average days on market is an indication of whether or not it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. If you go over 90 days, typically we're leaning into the buyer's market, meaning buyers are getting better prices. They're able to negotiate. They're getting the seller to pay their closing cost. A lot of the buyers are using the request to the seller to pay their closing cost instead of lowering the price, because that way they can get a lower interest rate and they can afford the payment. So right now in this market, it's a good idea to work with the buyers. Once you catch one, hold on to them, make it work as best you can, because the market's not that hot yet, but I look forward to that taking place. Douglas County actually is a little bit different story. The median list price there went up last week by 5,000, but the average days on market continues to rise. It's up to 96 days there as well. Teller County, the prices dropped by $10,000. That's the median list price for homes in the past week alone. And the average days on market went up by 2 days to 138 days. Pueblo County has been relatively flat as far as prices. The median list price is about 350. And the average days on market are about 109 days. So some of the good statistics are to look at. Let me say that again. Let me sit up straight and do it right. Okay. Some of the really interesting statistics I like to track are pending sales, because that is a leading indicator of what could happen in the future. And actually, I'm seeing conflicting stuff compared to a week ago. The pending sales numbers are down. However, if you look at the ratio of homes that went on the market, homes that sold, and homes that have gotten contracts, we are seeing a slight uptick in pending sales. So maybe their predictions will turn out to be true. Another number that indicates that that number could be true is that inventory is dropping. So right now, because buying a home the payment is going to be actually more than it would be to rent. We're seeing a lot of buyers ask for those closing costs so they can buy the interest rate down to make the home more affordable. And so I think there's a lot of optimism out there about the rates coming down, but it just hasn't happened yet. And some of this could be seasonality, so I wouldn't worry about it. A lot of people tend to take their house off the market over the holidays. Some people just want to wait until the springtime to sell. That's fine. That's pretty normal. So I wouldn't worry too much. But most sellers are having to lower their price because if they're on the market right now, it's not working. And really, it's all about interest rates. Right now, the rates actually went up in the past week by just under 1/4%. Conventionals at 6.93%, and the VA loans about 6.3. But the people that are winning in this market right now are the ones that are either pricing their home, what I call very realistically versus optimistically, and or offering incentives. You'll see builders that are really good at this. They're offering crazy incentives to get buyers into houses. And we can help buyers in any case, whether they're looking for a new home or a used home. So the key right now is for buyers, there's more choices. And for sellers, there's more competition. So you have to make sure if you are going on the market right now that you get all 4 Ps right: preparation, making sure that the home is presented to the market properly, because we know that the first showing absolutely is online. These buyers are pretty savvy. They can see prices all around you. They're looking at what's available, and they know they can tell if it's a good deal or not. So if you're not getting showings, something's off. It's either price or marketing or both. So picking the right agent that knows how to help you price is really important. And then promoting the home so you get top dollar is even more important. So if you are selling now, again, price it very realistically versus optimistically, and you will win. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how the Colorado Springs real estate market was predicted to be the hottest market in 2025, which is exciting. And then next up, we're going to go into the detail of the data behind that prediction and how that happened. So if you are going to make if you are going to make a move, give us a call. We have over 28,054 buyers in waiting just on our little website. Plus, we have cash buyers. So typically, we can show up with a half dozen offers on any home and give you options about what strategy is the best for you to sell your home based on your timeline and your desired price point. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Now, Barb, we're discussing the current real estate market and how people can be prepared if they want to buy or sell. And as the host of the program, what's behind that prediction showing Colorado Springs is expected to top the real estate market in the entire nation?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting for me. Basically, they based it off the median price of homes here. And they're saying basically they're expecting the percentage of existing home sales to increase by just over 27%. That's a big number. And for the other thing that they're looking at as well is that they think the prices are going to go up by over 12.7%. That would be really exciting if that would happen. So if you are a buyer right now, I would not wait, because when the rates come down, the buyers are going to be coming out in force because they can afford house payments when the rates are lower. As a buyer, you're getting the best price right now. You can always negotiate to get your rates paid down, and you can always refinance within 6 months after you close on the home. So really, the basis behind what makes this market the hottest area in the country for 2025, a lot of it had to do with optimism about the Trump administration. I was kind of surprised to read that when I actually read the article. They're predicting better economy, a higher economic growth. They're expecting the interest rates, the mortgage rates to drop. Now, the Fed rate and the mortgage rates are two different things. Sometimes they don't correlate exactly. They're expecting lower taxes. And all those things are going to mean more disposable income for buyers, which will mean they'll jump in to the home buying process. And certainly the prices in the Colorado Springs area are a lot less than Denver. It's not that bad of a commute. There's a whole bunch of people that kind of live in Colorado Springs and work in Denver. Some people are able to work from home a couple days a week. So you see a lot of people doing that. And then the other key reason they gave was that this area has a very large military and veteran population, of which they can purchase homes with zero down, which makes the market more attractive to the average buyer. So I think it's exciting to see those predictions. And if I were a buyer and I saw something I really liked, I would jump on it now. I would not wait, because there are a lot of buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines, stacking up cash, waiting to strike for the right home to show up. And so what do home sellers do in this market? Well, if you have to sell right now, you have to be priced very, very realistically. That's what the builders do. They might keep their prices up there, but they offer huge incentives in order to help the buyer get a buy down in their interest rate and make sure that they're able to afford the home. Also, make sure you take care of any deferred maintenance. The cosmetic stuff is critical. Things like carpet, paint, all that kind of stuff is pretty easy, relatively inexpensive to repair to get your home to be considered one of the top for the buyers. And don't be surprised if they ask for concessions as well. But as always, pricing a home correctly will create demand. And what we're seeing, just so you know, I've listed over 200 homes in the past 12 years for the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. And typically their homes always sell in less than 30 days because they always price it right. Well, we're having these pricing problems right now where we're looking back on historic sales, even with the homes owned by the VA. um, they'll come close to my succession. They'll come close to my suggestion on pricing, but it's not flying off the shelf. I'm not getting multiple offers like I used to. That's an indication of a softer market. And of course, we're bound by what are the similar sales in order to establish pricing. So it could take longer for even those homes to sell right now. And we just helped a couple sell their home out in Peyton. They had been on the market for 110 days with no offers. They even spent a lot of money and brought in staging furniture. Still didn't work. Their photos were really awful. They were done with an iPhone or a bad old iPhone, I think. And so when we put it on the market, we had 40 people at the open house. I sold it in 9 days. So it's all about positioning the home to attract the right buyer at the right price. So if you are thinking of moving, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She's the host of the program. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. When we come back, we'll be discussing, can you save money by not paying a buyer's agent a full commission here in Colorado? Barb will explain. There you go.
I went longer than I should have.
Oh, see, you were just because you were like within a nanosecond last week, you're getting that expect. You probably have that clock there again, don't you?
I do.
Yep, that's good.
All right. Ooh, I messed up.
Please.
Oh no, what did I do? There it is. Okay. I'm gonna go grab something warm to drink.
Okay.
See if that makes me sound less froggy.
I didn't notice that, but okay, so that is done. How the hell do I?
I haven't made coffee or tea here in a long time. I don't know how to do it. Maybe I should just sing badly. Oh, get me started. The office is Red Bull.
So much sugar in that. Ugh.
Oh, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I usually feel better when I drink it.
All I'm gonna tell you.
What did you say?
I already said I was all I was gonna say. So there's just a lot of sugar in that. That's all.
I'm sure there is. It says 190 calories in this little bottle.
Yeah, tiny bottle. You said she's having her own form of Red Bull here.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm having Starbucks Frappuccino.
Oh my gosh, I love those.
Of course you do.
I absolutely love those.
Sugar shot.
Hold on, you see this? Oh, this should be. Oh, that's what we already did. Okay, that's.
So what's your theory on the drones?
You know, I think President Trump was probably right when he said the government knows what it is. For whatever reason, they're not really saying so. He was asked, well, did you have a briefing? And he said, instead of saying no, which if the answer were no, he'd say that. He said, I can't really talk about that, which to me is a yes. And he made it sound like it, was just not as serious as people were worrying it was. But I will send something to you. Earlier this morning, I found a posting on X about a kind of a false flag incident, and it's perfectly describing what's going on right now. But as always, all right, is this something that somebody put together that makes it look like it was 2 years ago when this thing was posted, or was it really? I'll send it to you because it's kind of it drives me crazy. I mean, God only knows what's going to happen between now and Christmas, between now and the swearing in. This is such an important time, and yet I've got a bad feeling. Like,
It's fascinating to me that he's holding press conferences and meetings at Mar-a-Lago
I
already.
mean, you'd think he's president, but I'll tell you one thing. I think this is the guy who learns his lessons. Last time he was at Trump Tower and the FBI had bugged him and all of this stuff. He's like,
Yeah.
nah, you know what? We're going to do everything out of Mar-a-Lago. And I really think he learned a lot of lessons the last time. Much better prepared to go into it this time around.
I was watching some guy that works for um Biden's chief of security, or anyway, uh he's an employee of one of the White House staff guys that Biden has.
Yep.
And I don't know how it worked, but he somebody managed to get a quote date with him at the bar drinking wine, and he just spilled his guts about how Biden's not mentally there.
Oh, I saw that. He was saying that, Biden would call to ask if somebody was there. And it's like, well, no, he's on the same trip that you're on. And, oh, but that's what's his name? James
Yeah.
O'Keefe is the one.
Yeah.
And he always does that. I'm still kind of surprised that there are people out there who fall for that whole thing. I only watched like a minute of it, but Why do we have to have something like that to be told the truth?
Well, I think everybody kind of knows it, you
Yeah,
know. I don't think it's a news flash, really.
agree with that. I will say the newsflash, I think, is the fact that there appear to be at least two Joe Bidens. You look at people, how tall he is, how well he walks. There's actually a video. I'll see if I can find it for you. It was after an event, and it was a guy who looked like Joe Biden, dressed up like Joe Biden. He's carrying his own luggage, put it into the trunk of a cab or something, got in, and they drove away while the other Joe Biden was, heading out toward Air Force One. It's hard to know what to believe, but I just don't trust these people at all.
No, I think it's catching on.
I think so too. And I think the tide is turning. I think when ABC has to pay $15 million in a settlement, that wouldn't have happened a year or two ago. They would have thought, oh my God, Trump is, in such sad shape. We can get away with this kind of thing. And I think, honestly, I think it was that Josh Penny trial and the election. And they're saying, look, these are different rules now than what it was before.
I think 15 million is low, actually.
Well,
Uh,
and the settlement, I don't know because I don't handle that kind of law. I did see there was big outrage from a number of outlets yesterday saying, "Oh my God, we need to know from ABC why would they pay that much money or this or that?" And it's like, trust me, if their attorneys were willing to settle for $15 million, there's a damn good reason that they were willing to, and it probably has to do with the fact that you know what? You get the right jury, and it because the case was filed in Florida, not in New York.
yeah, they got a bargain.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah, well, just to come out, just all the stuff he went through in the past couple of years with all this litigation was wrong. Um, and I don't think he was really motivated on vengeance, but it's the right thing to do. When you
It's
come out and make a
accountability.
statement from a position of authority like that, you know, I think they deserve what they get.
Well, I think so too. And you know what? And sorry, I'm talking so long, I'm chewing up time here, but I have to say this. So, I posted the interview that soundbite came from, and it was Stephanopoulos interviewing Nancy Mace, the representative from, I think she's Georgia, Florida, whatever. And she had been raped apparently when she was 16.
Right.
And he kept pressing her. How can a rape victim, endorse a guy like Trump and on and on and on? And she probably said three or four times in there, quit shaming me for being a rape victim, whatever. And oh, I'm not doing that. And he kept going. And I swear to God, you always hear the best thing to say after the fact, but somebody said, she should have said, so George, do you remember when you were press secretary for Bill Clinton and your job was to cover up him having sex with interns in the Oval Office and all of the other women who were making claims
Yeah.
against
To
him?
destroy their reputation.
Yeah. Do you remember when you were doing that?
I'm
Like,
surprised he still has a job,
I
you know,
am.
but that's how they
And
are.
well, and there's probably a generation of, like my son and daughter's age who have no idea that that guy ever even was working for Clinton. They probably just say, oh, well, he's a real journalist. No, he's not. He never was.
Yeah, I saw a graphic on where people get their information, and it was really surprising. It was like, maybe 1/8 YouTube and 1/8 email. It was all these different little pieces of the pie that indicated that, there's mainstream media is just no longer mainstream,
It's not at all.
especially TV.
And so I talk with my kids and their friends, and they get almost 100% of what they get from Instagram. There's a lot of good stuff on Instagram. The only problem is it's like any other social media. If you set it up that you're just following these certain people, it's going to give you the same old that, just reinforces whatever your belief is. But
Yeah, they all do that. They
yeah,
all repopulate stuff that you've been looking at, I think.
I think so too.
But like my son, he only watches one podcast.
Really?
And yeah,
Rogan?
no, Ben Shapiro.
Oh, Shapiro's great.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only one. He goes, I don't have much time for it, so it might be, 15 minutes at the most in a day, but
I wish I could get my kids to watch something, and I keep trying, but it's just, there's such a fine line between having a little bit of influence over them and them just tuning you out. And it's always, Dad, I don't want to argue. And I hate when they say that because I don't want to argue either. And I don't push it
right.
because arguing is not going to change anything. But I think it's going to be a good year. I think they're going to find out that all these fears that they have are not founded. All right, I got a new clock.
Okay,
I'm all set to go here. David's good. You good, Barb?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, home buyers are searching on those big national websites like Zillow, Realtor.com, and Homes.com. But is that really the best way for home buyers to find the best homes in Colorado? And do they need to hire a buyer's agent to purchase a house here in Colorado?
Well, I think most buyers want to be represented, but you know, they can get a lot of the information online now. They can learn pretty much about everything. They can find the homes, they can find their own lender, they can find an inspector. They have really good knowledge of what the homes are worth around that home because that's out there on all these tech company websites for them to easily see. So they're pretty savvy. So when it comes to having to pay somebody to walk you through the paperwork, that's why we're seeing the average commission for buyer's agents going down to close to 2% best case right now because the buyers are asking, well, can't I negotiate? Why do I have to pay that much, for you to let me in a house? I can do everything else. And I think it makes sense. It's definitely this thing that happened with the National Association of Realtors did did kind of change things a little bit in that um, it's no longer hard coded into the MLS systems how much the buyer agent would make on a transaction. There is no longer steering that was going on. Like some of the agents would be reluctant to show a property if it didn't offer the commission that they wanted. And it's hard to find business in general in real estate. That was the biggest challenge for me in the beginning. And I remember asking my broker that, how do I get business? And I think his suggestion was, hey, pick up the phone book and cold call people, which you're not allowed to do anymore if they're on the do not call list. So there's a lot of rules about that. Plus, people don't want to be bothered. They're not answering the phone if they don't know your phone number anymore. So, how does an agent meet with a buyer? Well, sometimes they pay for leads. They might connect through their website or something like that. And typically, the first meeting for most agents is at the house and not a sit down meeting about what you can do for a buyer to help them find the perfect home and help them find the best financing and help them through the process. So I think there's a lot of problem with it right now. And what we are seeing from buyer behavior is they are actually negotiating. They're asking, hey, we'll tell them the fee and they're like, well, can I negotiate? And we're like, yeah, okay, well, we'll ask the seller to pay a portion and you pay a portion. And they're like, okay. So it's kind of fun to see it go into that realm where it never was before. Agents would say, oh, don't worry, the seller's going to pay my fee, right? And the truth is, right now, about a third of the homes are actually sold to cash buyers. They actually don't hit the open market. And some of the best deals never hit the market at all. Like I had one that we did go on the market. It was priced very realistically. We had a huge crowd at the open house. We had about 10 offers. We thought we picked the best offer, but then it turned out that that buyer was not really financially prepared to purchase the home. So she bailed out at the last minute. And since I had the other offers, we never went back on the market. I went back to the buyers that had already made an offer. And I ended up getting a second bidding war from that list of buyers. And it sold pretty much off market for even more than the original round. So not every home is available to buyers online. And I think they know that. I remember when I was traveling back from a conference recently, I was sitting behind this lady and I could see kind of at an angle, she had her cell phone holding up and she was just flipping through Zillow and flipping through 3 or 4 different websites looking for homes. So obviously they were heading towards Colorado Springs to start shopping for homes, but it wasn't just one site they were looking at. It was 3 or more. So there is that fear of the buyers missing out on the perfect home. So what we're seeing now is the buyers are, many of them are going directly to the listing agent to try to negotiate the fee. And a lot of buyers, they won't be bothered to even go look at a home if it's not priced right and if it's not presented to the market properly. So that's really, really key for a home seller. We can also help buyers get the best financing. So um, I work with all different lenders because mostly what I do is help home sellers, although I do work some buyers here and there. And the buyers don't like shopping around for lenders. And the reason is it's kind of difficult to bare your financial soul to anybody and then to have to do it again to shop around for some people is not comfortable. They don't like doing it. So if they think they're in good hands, they'll move forward with the first lender that you talk to. The problem is it's only 2 weeks of school to be a mortgage broker, and it's 4 weeks of school to be a real estate agent, right? So um, the buyer may or may not know some programs, some down payment assistance programs, how they can get the best interest rate. They don't know that by just talking to one lender and saying, okay, I'm pre-approved, let's go, right? So sometimes we can help buyers with that. And once you get that done, once you get the pre-approval done for financing, it's really like negotiating with cash because you've already gone through the hard part of the process. And now it's just a matter of shopping on steroids, pretty much. And the other thing that the NAR agreement changed is that theoretically, the buyers are supposed to sign agreement with the agent before they look at a house, which is kind of weird. I mean, it's sort of like, okay, I'm going to go look at this home, but I have to be committed to look at the home to work with that agent. But how do they know they're going to be satisfied if they're committed to working with that agent? What it's supposed to say is if they buy the house, then it outlines how they will get paid. That's all it's supposed to do. But whether or not it's committed, like the state forms actually commit a buyer to that agent. So in my view, not a whole lot has changed. What has happened before is that agents would meet the buyer at the house. We would see it all the time at our open houses. They'd walk up and you could see them looking around for somebody, and then they'll walk up and go, "Oh, are you so-and-so?" And they go, "Yes. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so." And then they'd walk up to the registration desk and go, "This is my buyer." And they had never met them before. Richard, I've even had real estate agents in my open house line trolling for buyers. Or they'll go in the open house and they'll start interviewing the buyers to see if they can get business from them. Isn't that despicable?
It is so despicable. I mean, you would think that there would be some integrity there, and I don't want to besmirch anybody, but honestly, if they're doing that kind of thing, how am I supposed to trust them to represent me?
Yeah, and it's just, it all goes back to the industry is very bad at teaching agents how to get business. They don't really teach that. They just tell them it's a contact sport. Go out and meet all these people and ask them for the business. And there are better ways to do it. I like to do it with marketing. I have one agent that works for me that's really a really great social networker, and she works by referral, and she does a great job for them. And so sometimes that works well too. But at the end of the day, there's certain things that the buyers just don't know. Like I remember meeting with the seller one time, and she had already gone under contract. She went directly to the listing agent to buy this house. She thought she knew what she was doing because she was a paralegal. Okay. And so when I listed her house, I mentioned, so did you ask the seller to pay some of your loan closing costs? And she goes, no, I didn't know I could do that. Right. And that probably cost her five or $10,000. Right.
Wow.
Not knowing that little piece of information can really help you. So I think agents do bring a lot of good things to the table, but the best way, in my view, to go about it is to really sit down and show them what we can do for them to help them get the home that they absolutely prefer. It's hard to justify something like a 10 or 15 or even $20,000 paycheck if all they did was open the door and write up a 10-minute contract and maybe go to the inspection if I beg them. That just, it doesn't sit well with buyers. You have to be able to show real value and explain things to them. And it'll get better. Hopefully, it's going to be an interesting ride over the next year, seeing what happens. One of the things that we bring our buyers that really helps them is insider access to homes that are not online, and they get a chance to bid on those. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about whether or not a seller or a buyer would save money by not paying the fully requested buyer's agent commission. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how a way a home buyer can guarantee front of the line access to the best homes in Colorado. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, owner proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, what are some other things that home buyers should consider to find the best homes for sale here in Colorado?
Well, there's the assumption out there that all the best deals are out there online, but we actually have hundreds of motivated sellers that have posted their home on our website looking for properties or looking for a buyer, but they don't want to do the traditional sales process. We actually just connected up a buyer with a seller recently in a north part of town home, and they were in love. They were happy. They didn't have to compete with other buyers. They got a good deal, and the house never went on the market. So that's one of the things that we bring different to the table, as well as we have insider access to bank foreclosures, vacant homes, distress sales, things like that. That's what we do for our VIP buyers if they choose to work with us. And I think it's in general, if you want to negotiate your fee, that's okay. It's okay to do that right now as a buyer. It's okay to do that as a seller. The way the state did it is basically they said, okay, if commissions are not going to be offered anywhere online, that's fine. We'll put it in the state contract, and that's where the agent can request their fee. But I have had some agents call me and go, how much is the seller going to pay me to bring my buyer? Because I have an agreement. I'm worth 3%, and my buyer isn't going to pay a penny out of pocket. And this was a buyer that was literally in front of one of my listings, pointing to the house, going, I want to see that one. I want to see that one. But he called me first to see if he would get 3%. And I said, just put it in the contract. It depends on the offer. And he goes, we'll just go show other houses. So he steered his buyer away from there because he wasn't going to get his 3% that he said he thought he deserved. So imagine if you're the buyer. I don't know what he told the buyer because the home absolutely was available at the time, but you're wondering, did he tell the buyer, oh, it's not available. Oh, they already have an offer. Because it didn't go under contract for 2 more weeks. So if I were the buyer, I'd be pretty disappointed if I was, not being shown properties that I wanted to see. My name is Barb Schlinker. If you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to become one of our VIP buyers, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She's the host of the program. And if you are thinking of making a move, call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing what are closing costs for home sellers here in Colorado. Stay tuned for that.
Did that make sense at all?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. I mean, I have to tell you, if there's ever a segment where I'm like, okay, that either doesn't make sense or it is so freaking convoluted that I don't even know what the hell you were talking about, I'll tell you, but David, I mean, he's shaking his head yes as well. Are you looking at how much noise I make if my mouth gets dry? I'm trying to.
It was probably me.
No, it's me. I've got a problem with my mouth. I got tackled at a party, in a
Tackled?
graduation party in high school. Our big football star, Randall, comes up from behind me and tackles me
Oh boy.
just as I'm taking a drink out of a beer bottle. And
Oh,
I clipped my two front teeth. Well, I had a little bit of a crack there, and it lasted up until 10 years ago. I'm like, I was stunned that it would last that long.
yeah.
And then 10 years ago, finally cracked, and I had some caps put in, and that lasted up until about 6 months ago. And I came in here, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I bought a Mars bar or something like that, Milky Way, I don't know what. I don't even like those things. I took a bite of it. Oh, there's my two front teeth. What the hell's going on with that? So I need to have some work done, but the problem is,
Snickers. I see.
yeah. But so the problem is I've got this problem, but they're all telling me, well, it'll probably be, like a week by the time we take care of that. And then you can actually get back and talk properly. And obviously with the election, there's no time to do that. And then, we've got swearing in, then we have the inauguration and stuff. So I hate it, but I'm like, well, I can't do that until after this or after this. I don't know. David's bugging me to take some time off. Maybe I should take the time off and have it done between now and the new year. But in the meantime,
You have
Unless
to
you like paying our owner money back at
I
the
know.
end of the year, because
And
you're allotted this
I
time
know.
off. You're supposed to take it. But
And actually,
you can give money
I
back.
know
It's okay.
they need it so much.
Yeah.
And my wife is like,
Their
so
$13
we
million
started
home
the
doesn't
new
pay for itself.
dental deductible in January. So we are already way past the deductible. Why don't you do it now? I don't know. In any event, that's my story about why my mouth is all jacked.
Yeah. Do you have to get implants?
I'm going to, yeah. I don't have to, but I think that's the better way to go. I mean, and I hate to complain, but that's the whole problem. It's almost like politicians. You go in, here's the problem, fix the problem. But are we just fixing the problem, or are we doing this and this and this along the way to fix the problem that is going to end up with them making $15,000 because they did this and this and this? I want to be done with it once and for all.
Yeah. It's a process getting implants, but
And they're not inexpensive. I mean, the ones I was looking at were like anywhere between 3,000 and 6,000 per tooth.
yeah, it's a lot of money.
Oh my God. All right.
The doctor gives good happy juice. My
I will say that, you know what? I never had that. I think until the last two times I saw my dentist, he died. But I've hated going to the dentist my entire life because my generation, you're younger than me, but my generation, we'd go to the dentist and they would drill a cavity. They didn't numb you up or anything. They just drilled into the damn tooth, and you're, 12 years old, grab the chair and,
yeah.
bear it or whatever. And So I've never particularly liked any of that, but the last dentist I had before he died, go in, give you whatever they give you, and I'm like, whatever, no big deal. And this is fine. I'll just
Yeah.
listen to the music here.
Yeah, it's weird because like Mark had one recently and he goes, I just went to sleep. And they wake, I don't know what it is, but you feel like were out for a second and you're back,
Yes,
kind of strange.
I like that. As opposed, I
Mhm.
was thinking a while back, maybe 15 years ago, I had to have a tooth pulled. Oh my God. I wish they would have put me to sleep for that because you could just hear the creaking and let's quit talking about this, Barb.
Okay,
All right. Let's see. I got a new clock.
ready.
I've got to be in Lone Tree for an appointment a little bit later on. Three, two, one. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the host of the program. And this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, people don't sell homes very often, and most are looking to minimize their selling expenses. How much would a seller typically pay to sell a house here in Colorado?
Well, Richard, the good news is commission absolutely is negotiable in every respect. I mean, you can do it fairly cheaply if you wanted to, but at the end of the day, most home sellers actually want the most money. Almost everybody that I talk to, they want the most money for one reason or another. But the question is, how much is the most? If the seller is deciding how much the most money is, that may not be what a buyer's willing to pay. And I had people price their home based on what the tax assessment was, which is not working. It's just not working. So it really depends on how the home is priced, how it's marketed, how long it's been on the market, and if you don't live in the home when you put a house on the market and it's empty, there's a pretty big cost to that every single month. If it were me, I would want that pain point to go away as quickly as possible. And there's a different price for that, but marketing has to be done right regardless. So really, the way you get the most money is a strategy that most people want. And I see other agents, they'll just go, oh, well, look, this home sold for this much. Therefore, your home is worth that much. Boom, put it on the market and it sits there month after month after month with no sale. And I just helped a couple sell a home that they went through that exact problem. They had their house on the market for 110 days. The pictures were awful. They were taken with a bad old cell phone. They didn't even highlight the best features of the home. The seller actually spent a couple $1,000s bringing in staging furniture to make it show better, but that really wasn't the issue. It was the online showing that was really repelling buyers from this home. And so he fired him, he hired me. We photographed it right, we priced it right, and it sold in 9 days for full asking price. And I actually had a buyer that wanted that home. They were kind of late to the party on their showing. They got mad at me because they didn't get a chance to bid on it, but their request to make an offer happened right after it went under contract. So I can't read everybody's mind, and I asked him this question. I said, hey, it's been on the market for 110 days before I took over. Where have you been? And he goes, well, I had to make sure my house was sold. And, he didn't come to the open house. He didn't throw his hat in the ring at all, even though I gave everybody that chance to do it. So right now, the average days on market are longer, but remember, those days on market don't reflect every single home. It reflects the homes that are getting contracts. The ones that are not getting contracts, which is an awful lot of them, are sitting on the market longer. And it means that they have one of two problems. They have a marketing problem or a pricing problem. So, and if you do what a lot of sellers think is the right way to do it, which is, hey, can't I price it high and, leave some room for negotiating? it never works because all of the data is available online for the buyers to see. They can see the values of all the homes all around that property. They know if it's priced right or not. They know whether or not they're going to go see it based on the marketing, because they're not even going to be bothered to go look at it if they don't like the way it looks online. And according to national statistics, I'm not talking about just me, I'm talking about the National Association of Realtors, did a study, and they said if you price it too high and then slowly walk the price down, you're actually going to net less money. So it's always good to be priced appropriately, especially within the first 10 to 30 days when you're on the market. And the Zillow's estimates, the realtor.com, any one of those automated valuations, they're most of the time not accurate. I have seen swings as far as $100,000 between three of them on the same property. And I'm showing you some examples right now of how you can get it right. So this is Victor and Nona's story. They had hired that agent who really didn't specialize in selling homes. He specialized in property management. He had awful pictures. These are my pictures. And it sat there, nothing going on. They were just slowly walking the price down. Similar sales are between 6 and 650. When he fired that agent, he was priced at 640, no sell. So I took over, I marketed it right. We only changed the price by 3%. I had 40 people at the open house. We sold it for full price in 9 days. And that wasn't the only offer. We turned away an offer that was contingent on somebody selling their home. But when I looked at the home that was for sale, it was way overpriced. There was no way that was going to sell. So the seller would have gotten more of the same, of tying up his property, waiting for Mission Impossible over here to get done. So he did it right. He picked the right buyer, and it sold very quickly, even in this market, which is a bit softer right now. Here's a different story. Here's another client where we actually had the house on the market for a long time. Now, initially, we thought we priced it right. However, we could tell right away by the number of showings and the activity that, well, maybe not. Maybe buyers are looking for other things. The problem was around that area, there was a lot of new construction competition. You have to really take these things into account because brand new homes are offering all kinds of incentives, and the incentives they're offering to buyers are getting bigger and bigger. $22,000, $40,000, a higher commission to the buyer's agent. So obviously the buyer's agents are gravitating to sell their homes there. The buyers like it because they can buy down their interest rate and afford the payment. Plus they can throw in some fluffy things like, central air included or some kind of upgrades on the house. So that was the problem in this neighborhood, is we had really tough brand new homes that were competing against him, and it sat on the market for a long time. So I finally got the seller to agree, okay, we need to price it right. We need to make a move that's about 4 or 5%. And the day that happened, the day after I got their signature, I hadn't changed the price yet. And here we go. Here comes an agent that says, hey, I want to make an offer. And I'm like, well, wait, okay. So I didn't tell her the sellers were considering changing their price. And it worked out great. It meant that net to the seller, they were going to end up with more money than what they had of if they'd lowered the price. And it did sell for within 1% of the asking price. But here's the thing, we had to wait 169 days to get there. So that's tough when you have a home that's not occupied, you're living in another state. Those are very expensive things, where had they taken my suggestion up front, we could have gotten this over with a lot sooner. Here's another example of a home that was priced very realistically. Tom's story. Now, he wanted to sell as is. This home definitely is cosmetically challenged, like the cabinets are painted sparkle black and the master is painted badly black. So there was those kind of things, but they just did the basics. They took care of the flooring, took care of a broken window, all the repairs to make it pass for government financing. And they priced it very realistically, about 10% below the current market. We had 40 people at the open house. It sold in 2 weeks, not 96 days, which is the average right now. So if you're selling a home, it really depends on a lot of different things as far as what it costs. First of all, most people, your mortgage is your biggest expense, paying off your mortgage. On average, a seller's going to pay a total of 7 to 8% selling costs. That includes commission, settling up taxes, title, any repairs that you might have to do to get it to the finish line. So just even closing costs for the buyer. So just kind of plan on that number when you're selling. And if you do better than that, it's great. It's all about making sure the team is on board and that you have all the stars aligning for pricing, promotion, picking the right agent, and preparing the home for sale. But the best part is that some of the fees are very negotiable right now, like the buyer's agent, even the listing agent commission. People, you can negotiate anything you want. It's all about, are you getting the value? Are you getting somebody that's really going to market your home to get you top dollar? And it also depends on the goals of the seller. Some people don't want to show their home to everybody. Some people want to sell fast. Some people want to sell slow. Some people want to sell immediately, cash now. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about the typical closing costs for sellers. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a few things that you can do to command the most money when you sell your Colorado house. Richard?
Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can listen to the replays of the show anytime on all of the major podcast platforms, plus Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb Schlinker, if you're thinking of making a move, just call Barb at 719-301-3900. Barb, what are some of the other magic bullets on getting the most money when you sell your home?
Well, I would say number one, if you're going for a live in the house buyer, you have to be prepared. The pictures have to be great. So it involves making sure the curb appeal is good, the backyard is good, the living room, the kitchen, the master bathroom, the master bedroom. Those are key rooms and they need to be prepared. Take care of any cosmetic stuff. Don't even consider something like, oh, can't we give them a carpet allowance? It doesn't work because your first showing is online, and even just a little bit of staining in a carpet jumps out on a photograph, and buyers, if they see work that they have to do, they're going to pivot to the next house. Your home has to look more valuable than the asking price. That means you've got to price it what I call very realistically and make sure you hire the agent that knows how to market correctly, because that's part of the fun that I do. If somebody's already been on the market, I'll look at their pictures and kind of give them a free critique on what I would do if I was the agent. And you can ask me to do that anytime. I love doing that because stuff stands out to me that they may not even notice that they think is just fine. And if you're on the market and it's not moving, the market's going to tell you very quickly, very loudly, whether or not the buyers are interested. You can tell by the volume of showings. If you're getting just drive-by only here and there, it's your price too high. If you're not getting very many showings, your price too high. If you're getting showings but no offers, you're still priced too high. If you're getting offers, you're on target. So that's how you can tell once you go on the market. And it's absolutely critical that you pick the right agent that understands pricing, promotion, the whole package, because buyers have a lot of choices right now, and they're only going to spend the time to go look at homes that represent the best deals, the best homes on any block. So there's a reason why only right now, about 1 in 5 home sellers are reducing their prices on a weekly basis, because whatever price they initially tried is not working. And if you do that, it just lengthens out the time. If you're priced right in the first 10 to 30 days, it's going to work. But if you're not, it's a problem. And not all agents are the same. So if you want to find out about what we do, you can go to my YouTube channel. Just look for Barb Has the Buyers and you'll find me, or give us a call at 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Real Estate. I'm sorry. You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. If you're thinking of selling your home and you want to get the most amount of money, simply call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. A short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing pricing mistakes that can cost you thousands when you're selling your Colorado home, plus Barb's hot new listings. You don't want to miss them. Very good. I need to step out for just a quick second.
Okay. I'll do the same. Go. Move around. Back already? Not that far away. Yeah, they had my license as being expiring this year, but it doesn't. Yours expires the same as mine. Yeah, next year. So I gave it, I fixed that.
No, okay, perfect. So do I just take I was on Bandit, it's just the ethics and then
You have to do, don't forget to do the 4-hour update every year. So
yeah,
if you haven't done it,
and the ethics is what I'm doing.
no, that's not what I'm talking about, the 4-hour update.
I have it here actually.
If you don't do it every year, you have to take.
So this is the one that I did. It's what I'm gonna do, the Colorado annual update.
Annual update,
And
it must be done by the end of the year.
Okay,
If you don't get it done by the end of the year, there's no grace on it.
Okay.
They will make you take 24 hours of training.
okay, no, I'm doing that. Okay.
4 hours are better than 24 hours.
I think last year I did it like on the 30th of
Yeah,
December.
Todd and I both got caught on that.
Oh, did you?
24 hours, yeah.
Yeah, so,
And ethics is every 2 years.
okay,
So I don't know when the last time you did it, but.
I think I took it last year.
Oh, you did?
I think so, I did the ethics.
You should be
last
able to see your record in Bayonet.
Yeah.
It'll show you your completed
Okay.
courses.
Got it. So then I can just
I
do
hate that course,
the ethics or the
ethics.
ethics.
I always fail the test. Why is that? Okay.
Okay. I'm good. David is good. I'm
I
good.
try hard.
You're great. You're not good. Barb is great.
So are we working next week?
We were going to ask you as well, but we were waiting until after the final segment.
What are you thinking, Barb? Because I'm not.
We
I-
can do a replay or we can
What is your gut feel on
To
it,
be honest with you, my gut feeling is that it'll be the 28th.
right?
And I just don't think that there are going to be that many people who are going to be listening. And part of that is just based on, I think a lot of people will still be in the holiday thing. And I think the normal people that you would get on a Saturday, driving around, going here, going there, whatever, are probably not going to be doing that. But I'm more than happy to do it if you think it merits it. If not, then David can fire one of the ones that we've got already because I think they're all timely no matter what. So I think it just really comes down to you whether you want to spend next week cutting another one or not. I'm happy to spend the time cutting it. I'm happy to do it the other way as well.
Oh, I don't know. Um,
Well, I don't even know. Does she have to let us know today? You can give it, you can ponder it. It'd be great if you could, but I think
Yeah.
you can probably ponder it a little bit if you'd like.
And if we do a replay, I was thinking the credit score one.
That,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
that was always so good. That, and didn't thank you for coming onto the show last week. I got a lot of positive feedback about that when you were talking about Colorado, and gosh, you were just perfect. You were
Hmm.
just perfect.
I was trying very hard. No pitching. I didn't want to talk about me at all.
No, you know what? And that is the best thing because I think at that point, everybody who listens to the show has heard me talk about you up to that point, and I think they would just be, I don't know if offended, whatever the right word is. You played it exactly the right way. She's on here as an expert. Oh my God, listen to how smart she is and what an expert she is. Oh yeah, that's the same person that Richard is telling us about all the time. I thought you did exactly the right thing.
Thank you. I'd like to can I get a copy of that?
Sure.
Yeah, so next Tuesday is Christmas Eve.
Oh, I had not thought about that then.
Um,
And
so yeah,
that's
we
when
can,
Max is supposed to come into town, right?
oh, not until,
Later. Okay.
yeah, but,
I just
uh,
want you thinking on all the levels so we're not tying you down to this when you need to be doing other things.
yeah, why don't we just do a replay? I think people will understand. There's going to be a lot of people out of town and, you know,
And I have to say too, I hadn't really thought much about it, but David is probably right. If I'm going to take some time between now and the end of the year is the time to do that. And maybe it is taking some time on Tuesday or I think it's the best decision, I guess is what I'm saying.
okay. Yeah,
Okay.
just cobble some together. I don't know how you do that.
What I'll probably do is grab the last segment from this one
Okay.
and put it in the next one because the fourth segment is usually the most timely.
Right.
Maybe I'll grab 1 and 4 and
Oh,
then plug in some other things. So
yeah. I like the one I just recorded too, I think. But
okay. Well,
yeah.
I mean that makes it easy because I usually marry the third and fourth segment together. So
Yeah.
I'll just keep this one the same and then my first two, I'll make sure that one of them I really want to be that segment that she did with the credit scores and
Credit. Yeah. Put
Boy,
that
explaining those.
yes.
number
I
two.
mean, I have to say that never, 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 never gets old, and it is always timely. And I like it so much because, I'm picturing people who are driving, and some people they're going to come across the show, and if they're not really thinking about selling or they're not really thinking about buying, and they don't know or work with somebody who is, every person who hears you talking about credit scores, that's going to be important to them.
Especially around Christmas.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
just
'Cause we all spend too much at Christmas, right?
absolutely.
Okay. Sounds good. So we'll run up against another holiday though, which would be the next recording would be New Year's Eve. Is that okay? In the morning?
I work that day. You work that day.
I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, that's fine. If I don't, I
Okay.
will.
Okay, we'll plan on that. It'll be good. I can cook for a change. Every time I try, I screw it up. It's like, God, I don't know why. Like I
Just
made,
some tamales.
no, I can't do that. But if I make Mexican food, I will try. Every pan in the kitchen will be a mess and it will be awful. And get much better Mexican food out,
Her
and it probably
assistant was
costs
talking
less.
about getting
Oh,
a tamales tour Thursday,
Yeah,
was it?
Wendy, she's taken off. They have a tamales. They just spend all day making tamales, and then they give them out as little Christmas presents.
that
It's
is
kind of
so
cute.
cool.
That's what Mexican families tend
I
to
didn't know
do.
that.
Yeah, oh
That is
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah,
It's wonderful. You walk into the house and you just get this rush of the all the different scents of the spices that they're using and
yeah,
stuff.
it's so good. It's really good. Um, but for me, I tried to make this bean soup. It was like white bean with chicken and green chili, so it has a little Mexican flavor to it. But the beans didn't cook. And I think my husband turned it down. I don't know.
Hello, what the hell's he thinking? He didn't want the house to burn down or something.
I'm not sure, but anyway, I get home and the beans are crunchy. I'm like, oh God.
That doesn't, I mean, my mom, God bless her, she used to make those kinds of beans with ham, and then she'd have cornbread. And I don't remember exactly the details, but I do know she soaked them like the night before to kind of soften them up or
I
something.
did do that. It didn't, anyway,
Wow.
it took 2 days to get that thing made. It ended up being good, but
Good.
um, I don't know. I watched I'm watching this online blogger from Australia. Her name is Barbara O'Neill, I think. But anyway, she talks about diet and she lost a bunch of weight, like 80 pounds, just eating right. And she was saying that beans are really good because even though they're a carb, they don't spike your blood sugar like bread, you know, bread and
And I
cat.
guess they have a lot of fiber in them, too.
Yeah, it goes slowly and metabolizes slowly. So it's better for you than bread. As much as I love bread, I told that to one of my agents and he goes, I would die. I couldn't have my bread.
I love noodles, so that's my big thing. So
Yeah. All those things they do, they spike your blood sugar. And
yep.
anyway, whatever. It's interesting.
Everything I like is everything I like is not good. I can't think of a
Yeah.
single
And
thing
this
that
time
is.
of year, people are giving out candy and
Oh.
sweets. Oh my God. All right.
No more pie.
All right, I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program. And this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, a lot of people look at those automated valuations like on Zillow or their neighbor's asking price to try to determine their home and what it is worth, especially now that it is taking a little bit longer to sell a home. How does a home seller decide what price to set when they are selling their home?
Well, Richard, it's really interesting when I talk to home sellers, especially the ones that have tried to sell it before, because they give me feedback on what their previous experience was pricing the home, where the agent just came in and said, oh, it's worth this much, price it here. And then there's no showings, nothing's going on. Obviously, they didn't hit the mark. Or there was a marketing mistake. It's one or the other. It could be both. But pricing a home correctly actually could mean the difference of a seller getting the most money. Generally, you're going to have most eyes on your home in the first 30 days that it goes on the market because it's new and fresh and the buyers haven't seen it before. But if you're overpriced, they're not going to come take a look at it because they're finding other deals that represent better buys for them right now. And you can tell the market will tell you immediately based on the number of showings, sometimes based on the feedback. Sometimes most agents will they'll look at historic sales and go, oh, okay, this one sold for that much. It's similar to yours, so go ahead and price it here, right? And then it just sits there, nothing happens. And we're seeing a lot more of that now. Just 2 years ago, everything, 2.5 years ago now, everything was just flying off the shelf. Well, that was because the rates were low and it was actually cheaper to buy a home for buyers than it was to rent. Well, it's just the opposite now. Rates are more than double what they were back then. And it's all about the payment for the buyer. So if they can't afford the payment, they're not going to make an offer. And so when the market's declining like it is, when you're looking at historic sales, that's not the number. You actually need to lead the market down to get the right price. And that will create multiple buyers looking at your home. And potentially, you even have a chance of getting multiple offers. And you don't want to price it too low either, because there's some concern as well, like, okay, is there something wrong with the house? That kind of thing. That's what I'm looking for. If I see a home that looks like it's really out of whack, like it's a lot of square footage for a really, really low price, I'm starting to look at the fine print to see what's going on. Does this house have structural problems? Is there some reason not to show this home, right? So there's a fine line, but the best case is to price it like the Goldilocks number, what I call very realistically. So it's slightly below similar comps. Now, it's in this market, you don't have to really dump the price to get a decent buyer. It's still a strong market. People love living here. It's a beautiful place to live, and rents are still fairly expensive. So if you price it right, you're going to have showings, you're going to have offers, you'll have a contract probably within a couple of weeks. If you want to learn a little bit more about this, if you're not ready to sell right now, you can go to my website, barbhasthebuyers.com, and click on the green button that says free reports. And I have a really good report there called how to get the price you want and need. So just go to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on free reports to get that free report, how to get the price you want and need when you're selling a home. And pricing it right takes working with an agent that has experience. Now, I'm not talking about years in the business. I'm talking about having sold in the area within a certain time frame. A lot of people assume that, oh, if you've been an agent for 30 years, you must have a lot of sales. But I know a lot of agents, in fact, a majority of them might have years and years and years in the business, but they don't sell very many homes. And the market does change. Lately, it's been changing faster than I'm used to, actually. So if they're not currently selling homes in the area, they really may not know what's going on with the market. It does take some expertise to price a home competitively. Oh, I can't say that word. To price a home competitively, and knowledge on how to position the home to get the most money. Not everybody knows how to do it. And it's kind of one of my frustrations. When I first came into the real estate business, I was quite surprised that nobody really took me by the hand and guided me and showed me how to do this and how to do that. The only thing I remember being showed how to do was measure a house, which, we've got technology that can do that now, but I wasn't told how to do things like how to market to attract the right buyer, how to price a home correctly so that you can get the most money for the seller. Those kind of things were really not taught to me. I had to kind of stumble into it and get some listings and figure it out and learn it by doing. And a lot of people, it's just one of those weird industries. It's 1 month of school to become a real estate agent, and they send you out in the market and just let you have at it and see how it goes. And you need somebody that has the experience and has had the sales behind them to know what they're doing. And some people will really try to get as much money as possible, right? But at the end of the day, I'd love to get the home sellers, the most money I can. However, if the buyers don't see value in the price, in the way it's presented to the market, they're not even going to ask to go see it. So if you're on the market and you're not getting showings, that's a clue something's wrong. Okay. And at the end of the day, it's the buyer that has a vote. It's the buyer that decides how much they're going to pay for a home. And if it's priced right, the buyers will make an offer consistent with what the seller is looking for. So there's a lot of things that you have to look at because the buyers can see all of the competition around you. I can see all the homes that are selling. That's a clue. If somebody is selling around you, there must be a reason why that one's selling and yours is not. And we can look at that. But buyers are making what they call a go or no go decision right on their phones before they talk to an agent, before they even ask to see a home. Sometimes they're driving by and checking out the neighborhood before they talk to an agent. And so you want to make absolutely sure that that first showing, which is online, is the best. And you can absolutely tell if you're not priced right based on the volume of showings that you're getting or whether or not you're getting offers. Now, there's going to be an occasional that you'll get some offers that won't work for you, and that's okay. Even at full price, you don't have to accept any offer if it's not the right offer for you. That would mean maybe somebody that has a house to sell that's not sold yet. You really, in this market, do not want to tie up your home contingent on somebody else's home selling, because a lot of times the agents require you to put this symbol in the listing services that tells all the buyers out there that it's not available. But technically it is available if your first buyer can't sell their house, right? And a lot of agents really just don't know how to pull that off. And the problem is when you go out on all of the websites like realtor.com and Zillow, it'll tell the world that it's got a contract. So the buyers are like, no, I'm just going to pivot to something that is available. So you got to be really careful about accepting contingent offers, and we could walk you through that. We even have a solution for them with our proprietary cash offer platform. We can actually give that buyer offers on their home so they can buy your home without a sale contingency. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about some pricing mistakes that can cost you thousands. And next up, we're going to talk about some things a home seller should do to price their home the right way. And if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Or Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And you can listen to replays of the show anytime at all on all of the major podcast platforms, plus Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb, 719-301-3900. So, Barb, what are some other magic bullets on pricing to get your home top dollar?
Well, Richard, one of the most important things is pricing is basically it's a target, right? If you go up and you look at Amazon, just to give an analogy, right? Um, People, you'll see the most reviews for a certain product category um, based on sometimes they get more reviews because the price is lower, right? So it absolutely is part of marketing to attract buyers. But then you're wondering, okay, so if it's priced low, is it a quality product or not, right? Pricing absolutely is a form of marketing. It is a strategy, just like a marketing strategy, and it's a way to attract or repel the right buyer for you. In this market, do not expect bidding wars because that's very, very rare unless the home is priced super aggressively, right? Very few sellers are getting multiple offers, although it does still happen. You just have to make sure that the home is positioned and priced appropriately. And I did this one with a seller recently where we decided on a price before we went on the market, months before we planned to go on the market. And then when it was time to go on the market in the fall, I said, let's look at pricing again. We don't want to make that mistake of overpricing it. And the prices had corrected down a little bit from July to November, actually October. And so when we really analyzed what was out there and what their competition looked like, they decided to make about a 5% change in price. And we got a contract on day one. That's how well it works if you do it right. So if you are thinking of making a move and you want to discuss pricing, that's what I do with every seller that invites me. We give them tips on what to do, what not to do to get the most amount of money. We'll show them how to price their homes, and there's no cost or obligation at all. So give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. And if you're thinking of selling your home, you want to get the most for it, of course, call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, it's time for that lightning round of homes to tell us about your hot new listings.
Absolutely. Well, I have a really cool fiveplex down in the southwest part of town. It's priced in the low to mid fours. This is a great income generator. It was built in 2002, so it's not an old building like most of the multifamily. So it's a good investment. And it actually has one unit vacant, so you could move in and get financing and be able to live in the home and have your mortgage paid by the tenants. I have a couple of properties that are owned by the VA. I have one on Fay Drive, just reduced their price to $328,500. Beautiful starter home with 3 garage spaces, a detached 2-car and a 1-car. A great home on Ithaca Street that's over 2,800 square feet, priced in the mid to upper threes. Another property owned by the VA in the Mark Sheffel area, priced at $366,000. And then a beautiful another VA property on Rubicon in the same area. This is a 2-story with an unfinished basement at $404,000. And we also have a beautiful home on Hunter Jumper. So this is one of those homes. It doesn't have a big yard, but the finishes are very modern, very beautiful, priced in the mid fours. A great bi-level on Splendid, very close to Doherty High School. A beautiful 2-story on Canfield Drive with gleaming hardwood floors in the upper fours. And then a great home on Delmonico Drive, priced, sorry, hang on a sec, guys. And then a beautiful home on the west side and gorgeous rock rimming on Delmonico Drive at 714.9, and some gorgeous lots, one up in South Mountain Estates Road in Florissant and another one down close to Fort Carson. So give me a call if you're looking to make a move. If you want your home featured on my website, Barb Has the Buyers, we have over 10,000 clicks onto my website every month. A lot of people are looking at it, over 1 million impressions per month. So give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
So, yeah, okay. Barb, thanks so much for talking. Let me do that again. Barb, thanks so much for visiting with us this week. Hope you have a great weekend, great holiday season as well. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
You've got it.
The reason I'm not too worried about it is because it said, let's go up I-25. And then she talked about a place that was just
Okay.
up I-25. So,
Yeah, so here's, I just have to explain what happened. So I've got this doctor's appointment in Lone Tree, and I don't want to be late. So I use Waze, and I didn't realize that even though I had my phone's volume shut off and my volume all the way at the bottom, still you click on it and it gives you, sound, even though I have every mechanism for turning sound off. So I apologize for that. All
I
right,
didn't hear anything.
good. All right, let's see here. Ranked hottest real estate market. I like that.